Hi everyone. Just want to say thank you to all the healthcare professionals, all the NHS workers out on the front line, those that are putting their lives at risk for the sake of combating this coronavirus. And to all those healthcare professionals all around the world who are facing adversity at this time, I really just want to say, in a time of social distancing, when we can't shake your hand or we can't hug you to say thank you, I just want to say I salute you. Your work is incredibly important, as is the work of all those who are providing the services to keep the food and all the essential services moving so that people can carry on living their lives. But over and above all of this, I really just want to address the elephant in the room. And let's really go back and start looking at what happened in China during the December-January period earlier this year, when the coronavirus was spreading through the city of Wuhan. Now remember, Wuhan is a city of some 25 million people, about the size of Greater London or the New York metropolitan area. And just remember that they have these wet markets. These are markets where you can go and you can buy live animals, a lot of exotic animals, animals from all around the world. For example, the pangolin from the southern African region, bats that are sourced both locally and throughout the world. And these animals were being sold in markets where, let's be honest, the health situation wasn't at best. And these animals were stacked in cages, dogs, cats, and all sorts of animals that were kept in the most absolutely horrendous, inhumane conditions. Then, to add to this, these animals were excreting on top of one another. This is how the animals were stocked. This is how they kept these animals whilst they were waiting to be sold. Now, we need to be, absolutely certain that there is no other way that this virus could have spread the way it did if it hadn't been for the unhygienic processes that these wet markets represent. Then we need to go back to the second factor here, which is when the Chinese Communist Party actually became aware of this virus, they shut down any discussions and even prevented the World Healthcare Organization from speaking out about it. These are facts. So let's be honest. The Chinese Communist Party have got blood on their hands. And we now need to really find out what was going on in China during that time. My suggestion would be that we have an independent body outside of the World Health Organization, represented by healthcare professionals from all around the world, people from Italy, from Spain, that have been at the forefront of this pandemic. And we'll get a true representation of what happened and how this virus was allowed to spread the way it has. The Chinese Communist Party is a repressive regime. It is in power by the very nature of its autocratic systems that it has in place. It shuts down any free speech in the society of China. It is now trying to do the same around the world, and we cannot and must not allow this to happen. Let's not be politically correct and talk about xenophobia when in actual fact it was the Chinese Communist Party who shut down any discourse and discussion in early January, allowing this virus to spread outside of the Wuhan province and into areas around China, which eventually ended up with flights from Wuhan coming directly into Heathrow Airport up until as late as the 31st of January. It was during this time that the virus was spreading worldwide, as people were catching planes from Heathrow after having come from Wuhan and flying all over the world. It is absolutely essential now that we find the Chinese Communist Party responsible for the spread of this pandemic. We hold them accountable for it, and we work out how they're going to pay reparations for what has happened. I would like to first and foremost say to our healthcare professionals who are really at the forefront of this, that your work will not have been in vain. Having said that, we now need to find the culprit, the elephant in the room, so to speak. And that is by following my Twitter and my Facebook page and hashtag sue the Chinese Communist Party. Let's do this. Let's find who is responsible, and let's get on with finding a cure for this pandemic, and hopefully let our lives move on. And never again must we allow ourselves to become the victims of a repressive system that has kept the Chinese people and a lot of people all around the world duped by their complicity. Thank you for listening.